in my Facebook feed in the morning with the flyer of today's program, I made a mention that actually younger generation has lot of energy and lot of ideas. What they require from us as parents or as teachers is just the guidance and support to realize their dreams. And honestly, students, I would rather change your complete perspective in this session, and you'll actually be completely focusing at a very different thing after you have had an interaction with me, and you'll actually even have a feeling that why did I waste all my time all this while? But that's all right. So, I mean, whenever it happens, it always happens for the best. And we are going to talk about what has happened till now and what can we expect in the time to come. Usually what happens, we think that we are in the middle of crisis, like most of the people say that we are in the crisis. But actually, let me tell you, every crisis has a reason, or as an opportunity to give you. Just a minute, if I can share my screen with you. I need to see how it goes. Okay, I go to the present now and then a window. Okay, okay, great. So I think I should be able to do it. Okay, so can you all see the slides? Can you all see the slides? Somebody has to respond, please.
Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you. So great. So as I was telling you that we are definitely what we are seeing or what we are facing is something that was not ever thought or ever imagined. It's a pandemic that we were not prepared for, but at the same time we have to understand a lot of time has gone into it. Almost 2 months we have worked on it, and we are seeing the trends also, and that should give us a lot of understanding how things are going to take shape or how it is going to actually ultimately get into. So my next topic or next talk will be on beyond COVID-19, because I am kind of interacting with students on almost daily basis. So I am changing my topic every day. Initially I started with how to combat stress and how to look after your anxiety or how to handle your anxiety. Then I changed my topic to how to stay calm and focused. Then I'm changing my topic to changing perspective to changing your life. So this is how I am going to update my topic of discussion, because things are changing at a very, very fast pace. I'm sure many of you may be really very anxious and confused, thinking that the things are not right, and we are actually not leading towards something very fruitful or very situation which is going to be happy for us. And especially being in lockdown, everybody is talking about negativity, frustrated, stressed out, unhappy with the situation. Like you said, classes होंगी कि नहीं होंगी, मिलेंगे कि नहीं मिलेंगे, farewell होगा या नहीं होगा. People at home are feeling lonely. Friends, especially, they want to meet each other, and especially at your age, I can understand. I empathize with students, especially because कॉलेज जाने का मतलब है घूमना फिरना, फ्रेंड्स से मिलना. पढ़ाई तो हो ही जाती है, वो तो एक हिस्सा है पढ़ उसका, लेकिन एक्चुअल जो होता है वो फ्रेंड्स से मिलने का जो मजा है, जो घूमने मिलने का जाने का मजा है, वो सारा कुछ जो है वो रुक जाता है. तो आई थिंक इट लीड्स टू लॉट ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेशन एंड अनहैप्पीनेस somewhere on your mind, and you must all be really missing this ghumna firna. But let me tell you that of course certain situations do bring in some anxiety, some it upset you for a while, but at the same time I think we need to understand these situations also make us strong, resilient, and help us grow. Just yesterday night I was listening to Mr. Narendra Modi. I don't know how many of you heard his speech at 8 o'clock. He said 2 months ago we were not even making one PPE, and today we are making 2 lakh PPE every day. Imagine the way, I mean, if we had thought of manufacturing PPE, we couldn't have thought of making it this level. But वो कहते हैं ना, जरूरत जो है वो उसकी जननी है. जो चीज़ की आवश्यकता होती है वो हम उसके लिए काम करते हैं. Similarly, I think we all grow when we are in challenging situation. When we are comfortable, we are at ease. That is the time we don't care to grow. We don't care to work on ourselves. Now I think everybody is trying to work on how to you really utilize the time, or how do you really struggle with the situation, or how do you manage your show. Before we start with the discussion, I want to ask a few questions to my students specifically, because I want to understand what is their mindset on it. My first question to you all is, what is your contribution to combat crisis? I see lot of videos, lot of messages, appreciating doctors, nurses, other healthcare staff. I also see lot of, videos where you are felicitating the police officers or the housekeeping staff, sanitary staff who are really, really doing lot of good job for all of us to keep us safe and protected. But my question to all of you is, what is your contribution to combat corona crisis? Many of you may be thinking, हम कोई डॉक्टर थोड़ी ना है, या हम कोई पुलिस ऑफिसर थोड़ी ना है, या हम कोई सैनिटरी स्टाफ थोड़ी ना है कि हम कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे. हम तो घर पर बैठे हुए हैं, हम क्या काम कर सकते हैं? But let me tell you, there is lot that we can do. Even simple things like following the guidelines or taking all precautions so that we don't spread the infection, or staying at home, as simple as that, or washing our hands on regular basis so that we don't infect ourselves or we don't infect others. Also avoiding unnecessary travel and mingling with people. Even at home, sometimes we go down and we meet people and we think, okay, they are my neighborhood, so they are all fine, that's okay, we can go and meet and talk to them. Quite possible that any one of them could have, infection, and it can get spread. So what I'm trying to say, that understanding the seriousness of the situation, everybody has a role to play, and everybody should, take that responsibility that I will take all precautions. Even the lockdown 4.0 with the special guidelines is actually going to put all the responsibility on all of us. The onus will be on us to ensure that we do not spread the infection. Everybody has to take care not to spread the infection, and I think that's a very big responsibility. If we can, take over, we can definitely control the situation. Similarly, social distances. If it has been seen that social distancing actually avoids spread of infection, it's such a simple thing. Why can't we follow it? So even if you are able to meticulously follow the guidelines given by the healthcare departments or by the government to follow the guidelines to prevent the spread of infection, that also is a great contribution that we all can make in our limited capacity. Even things like use of masks. If you are going out for buying something, some grocery shopping or anything, if you are using masks, and not only now, for example, when the lockdown is partially lifted and we are allowed to go out and we are asked to wear masks, let us wear masks with lot of, you know, a responsibility that I don't want to get infected and I don't want anybody to be infected because of me. So these are all small responsibilities, but they go a long way in controlling the situation. And countries who have followed these guidelines, I think they have been able to definitely control this situation in such a wonderful way. Now, my next question to my student is, how many of you are taking part in your household chores? There'll be a lot of work at home, especially at this moment, we are not having any help at home. So most of the household responsibility usually falls on the mother. But considering the fact that everybody's at home 24/7, she has to look after everybody, she has to look after everything. It is cooking, cleaning the house, other small things, washing clothes, so many other things. How many of you are, taking part in that responsibility? Then my next question to you is, how many of you are happily doing it? Because that's one of the good way to show your love and respect for your parents. It's a very good way to communicate that you understand that your parents are stressed out, they're occupied, they need your help, they need your attention. And if you participate in these small things, actually, let me tell you, you will get a lot of time to spend with your family, to enjoy and have fun with each other. See, if your parents are busy doing household chores, definitely they were not enjoying life. They're just fulfilling their duty. So as grown-ups, it's your responsibility to sit together, make a list of everything that has to be done at home, divide the task on everybody in their own capacity, whatever you are good at or whatever they are good at, divide the responsibility on everybody, and then you will see how everybody is relaxed. I am talking to so many ladies and mothers, and at times when I get to hear from them that they're sick of the household responsibility and kids are not helping or the family is not helping. So I would tell to all men who are listening to this, all women who are listening to this, kids who are listening to this, they must come forward and take responsibility in doing your household chores. That will really relieve one person of all the responsibility and the botheration, and then you will see a positive change happening in the family. So please come forward, take responsibility, take role, whatever. Even if you can lay a table or clear a table or do bartan or maybe clean your room, even that's a big thing if you can do. So that means everybody has a role to play. One more question that I want to ask all of you is, how many of you see this as a golden opportunity to spend time with your parents and family? See, all this while we have been running around. All this while we have been in rush. So if you being a student have been running for college or for your assignments or for your exam, similarly, I'm sure your parents also must have been very, very busy running around with their job or their other responsibility. So this is the time that you all are together, and it is something like we all are together and we can't go out. So why not make best use of this opportunity? So it's a golden opportunity to connect with your family, to spend time with them, have good discussions with them, understand what they like, share what you like, and have a good time with your parents and your family. Some of you may be having grandparents at home. Connect with them, talk to them, understand their concern. They will have a lot of beautiful stories to share with you. If you listen to them, they will be happy. Even you will have a lot of learning if you interact with them. Again, at the same time, it's a wonderful time to connect with your siblings also. You know, the other day I was taking a session for a group of judges. So one of the judges said that all this while I have been running around preparing for my exam, and then I got into the job. And I have two young brothers who are younger to me, and I always had a kind of relationship like an older sister and young brothers. So it was more like, guiding them, what do you need to do in your career, or what do you need to, pick as your future program. So never, she said, I could be friends to them. But this time in the lockdown period, I'm getting such a wonderful time to be with my siblings, and we are more friends now than actually being, brother and sister. So great time to connect with your siblings and spend wonderful time and talk your heart to them, listen to them, guide them, be friendly to them, and you can actually have fun with them. It's also a wonderful opportunity to learn all these skills that you had on your mind. Skills like digital marketing, podcast, blogging, YouTubing, cooking, conducting webinars. There is so much that you may have on your mind. Actually, a lot of us have a bucket list. I don't know how many of you have it with you. I am sure if you will look into your diary, you will find your bucket list, and you will have number of things that you need to do. This is probably the golden time to take out that bucket list and see what all you can pick up and start doing. For example, many of you may have number of books lined up in your book almirah, bookshelf. Take out those books, take out time to go to read those books, or if you have books on your Kindle, utilize your time to read those books. So as I said, most of us would have a bucket list. I'm sure students, you also would be having one. Take it out, find out what you can, take it, use from it, and utilize your time for the best of your ability. You may have thought of doing yoga, exercise, skipping, meditation. This is the time to utilize and get into all those activities. So some of you who are thinking that, oh, being alone is boring, and since I'm not able to meet my friends, so probably it is, it's not, it's being lonely. But it is actually an opportunity to spend quality time with yourself. It is time to reflect on yourself. It is time to think what have you done and what you want to do. So it's a wonderful opportunity to grow. Let me remind you that God has pressed reset button. Life is not going to be the same after lockdown. If any one of you is thinking that we are going to be same or like this only after lockdown, or we are going to have the same kind of lifestyle, I'm really sorry to tell you, things are really, really going to change drastically. Be aware of the fact that, for example, social distancing, or for example, interaction or being together, all that is going to be affected. I don't know for how long we can't even have regular classes where we can have everybody in the same classroom. So life is not going to be same. We need to actually prepare for that, and lot of new opportunities are going to be available to you. Some of you must be wondering, what is this? We are listening that people are going to lose their job, lot of businesses are going to shut down. I agree. Some of the business are going to be affected. Some of the businesses are going to be redundant. But let me tell you, at the same time, lot of new opportunities are going to come your way. This I'm saying with lot of conviction. If you have heard yesterday's speech of our Prime Minister and today's news also, just 15 minutes ago, around 2:30, I was listening to news, and it clearly said that we are now completely focused on Make in India. And once we have this Make in India thing coming to us, Imagine the number of businesses that are going to, start happening in our country. They will require manpower. They will require educated people. Fortunately, India has the highest youth power. India has lot of educated people. So imagine, with so many resources, with so many young people, with so many opportunities, are you ready for those opportunities? In case if any one of you is thinking that just having a degree or my BA, BSc, BCom is going to be enough to get me job, I think you are underestimating the opportunity. You will require a lot of wonderful skills to match the requirement. Give me a second, please. For example, for example, I also have a feeling that the whole world is looking at India as the next investment destination, because people are not happy with the way things have been handled. So they may be looking for some replacement, some change. Who knows, India could be the next destination where they would like to invest and, get into a lot of business with us. So we really require a lot of skills like communication skills, presentation skills, professional etiquettes, emailing etiquettes, business management, business development, creative thinking, critical thinking, writing skills. These many skills we will be requiring. So are you really preparing yourself for this? So whatever time you have now, or whatever time that we will be having, say, on the time that we are left with, all this time be utilized to prepare yourself for this opportunity. So don't let even a single minute of your life go waste. Get ready for this responsibility, because when the opportunity comes and if you are not ready, you will be missing the bus. So I am honestly telling you, I have a very strong gut feeling we are going to have lot of opportunities in our country. India is going to be the next economic power in the world, but we got to prepare ourselves. If we don't prepare ourselves, we might miss the opportunity. So you need to have an eye for it. You need to have an understanding how things are going to change. Go to Google search, find out what is going to happen in the next 5 years. How is the global economy going to change? What businesses are going to be in? What businesses are going to be redundant? What opportunities, job opportunities will be in offer? What skills will be required in the time to come? Simple things like team building, working in a group, working in a team, collaboration. These are the skills people are going to look for, not just one degree or one certificate. That's not going to be enough. So prepare yourself for tomorrow. Get all possible skills to your kitty. You should have those skills with you. You should be able to demonstrate those skills. Only then you can say, yes, I'm ready for the opportunity. So go ahead, upgrade your skills like computers, podcasting, blogging, public speaking, anything that you think that you will be needing tomorrow. Go ahead and find out. Udemy has lot of online free courses available. If you go to Udemy and you write free online courses, they have number of online courses free available. Enroll yourself for those skills. In case you want certificate, I think that's when they ask for payment. If you don't ask for certificate, they offer you free course. Harvard University have hundreds of courses free of cost, online programs free of cost. I think they have a website with the name MOOC. I think this is the website. Otherwise, you can Google search and find out. Again, lot of programs are available. Go ahead, enroll yourself, do those programs. If you want certificate, I think then you have to pay. Otherwise, you can, enroll yourself. So what I'm trying to say, don't miss this chance. Be ready for the opportunity. Like a goalkeeper, if you're standing at the right place with the right standing, if the ball comes, you will never miss the opportunity. So this is what I'm trying to say. For this, you need to change your perspective. Don't look at the deficiencies. Don't look at the problems that we are facing. So you got to shift your focus. Rather than focusing on what we don't have, focus on what we have. There are a lot of opportunities. Don't waste your time talking about क्या हो रहा है, कोविड में क्या हो रहा है, लोग कैसे परेशान हो रहे हैं. I fully empathize with people who are suffering. But can you do anything? If you can do anything, go ahead, do it. If you can help anybody, if you can support somebody, go ahead, do it. But if you can't do it, then don't just keep talking and wasting time on those things. A lot of the times we are just talking about what is happening around us. Does that really bring any change in the situation? So very mindfully focus on the opportunities, focus on upbringing your skill or upscaling your skills so that you are ready for those opportunities. For this, you need to be perceptive, you need to be mindful, you should be able to see ahead, at least 5 years, 10 years ahead, what is going to happen, how things are going to change. And then who knows, things come in our court and we are able to really play it well. I can tell you one, share one example with you. I have a relative who have, pesticides business, and his son actually did BCA from one of the I think from IP University. He was looking for a job, and when he could get good offers, the money that he was getting was very meager, like 10,000 or 15,000 rupees as a salary. So he was very disappointed seeing the salary that he was getting. He said, no, I'm not going to, work for 10,000 or 15,000 rupees. So he decided to join his father's business. So his father had a shop with pesticides in the market. Now this young boy, educated boy, he joins his father's business, and within few days he finds a way and he goes online. He puts his father's business online, and today they're having more business online than having from their traditional, one-on-one business. So what I'm trying to say, be perceptive. What is going to be the trend of market? What is going to be the trend of business? What is going to be the trend of life? If you are able to foresee all those things, you will actually be prepared to deal with them. So that is what is actually, has to be the mindset. Life is 10% what you get it, and 90% what you make it. Everybody is in the same situation. All of us are facing same situation, but each one of us is dealing with it in a very, very different way. If you are able to use this time, make best use of this opportunity, you can exceed anybody. For example, many of you may be just average students and you have exams to come. In case if you are thinking, देखेंगे जब एग्जाम होगा, देखेंगे जब डेट शीट आएगी, तब पढ़ना शुरू करेंगे, तब सोचेंगे क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, और सडनली डेट शीट आ गई जी, आज से 15 दिन बाद ऑनलाइन एग्जाम होगा आपका. Now where do you stand? On the other side, if you have been studying regularly, if you have been preparing for the exam, even if you are given a date sheet, say for 15 days, within 15 days, you are ready for it. So what I'm trying to say, don't wait when the opportunity comes. You got to really prepare yourself for it. For those of us who are still worrying and are anxious about what will be the outcome, so I need to give you a beautiful tool that will help you not only deal with this situation, but anytime in your life when you're confused that how do I handle this situation. So what I normally advise and what I will tell you is, make a list of the things that are bothering you. So they could be 8, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, anything. It could be related to COVID, or it could be related to even before COVID or maybe after COVID. So make a list of things that are bothering you. So pick the first statement that you have written. Pick the first statement that you have written and ask yourself a question: what can I do to deal with this problem or with this situation? In case if you have a solution, in case if you can find an answer that yes, I can deal with the situation, yes, I know what has to be done, then this statement will go in the blue circle. I think you can see two circles, yellow and blue. So blue circle would have all the items over which you think you have some control and you can handle them. On the other side, there will be number of things over which you don't have control. For example, we can't go out of the house. So over this, you don't have any direct control. Or infection control across the world is very high. A lot of people are dying in US or Italy or in places like France or Brazil. So do we have any control over it? No, I worry about it, but there is no control over it. Or some of us are not taking things very seriously. When we see a lot of people, collecting together, not following the guidelines, not maintaining the social distance, or not even using masks. So that really scares us, that really bothers us. But at the same time, do I have any control over it? No. So things over which I don't have control, they all will go in the bigger circle, which is yellow in color, which I'm showing you here. On the other side, Anything over which you have direct control will go into the blue circle or a smaller circle. So, for example, I have a risk to infection. So, what can I do? Do I have any control over it? Yes. If I take all precautions, I can protect myself from infection. Similarly, I am getting bored or I am not having anything to do to go outside. So, I can utilize my time to the best of my ability. I have direct control over it. So very mindfully, again, as I'm telling you that you got to be very conscious of how you're utilizing your time, energy, efforts. Very mindfully, you have to focus all your energy on the blue circle, which is smaller in size. If you will focus your time, energy, efforts in the blue circle, things will start becoming better for you. Things will start changing for you because you're focusing your energy on the things that can bring change. Most of the time, we all have a habit to crib or cry over things and just talk, negative, blaming the system, blaming the government, blaming society, blaming some religion, blaming subsect of the society, something or the other. But honestly, even if you talk about these things 100 times, you will not be able to find any solution to it. They will not resolve because you don't have any direct control over it. So don't waste your time, don't waste your energy, just completely pay attention to the inner circle, which is blue in color, which has things over which you have direct control. For example, your attitude, your actions, your words, your efforts, your mistakes, your clothes, your utilization of time, your your routine, everything is in your control. Who can stop you by following a routine or a regime that you can have? So what I'm trying to say, very mindfully, you've got to focus all your energy on the blue circle, which is smaller in size, but that has capacity to completely change your life, change the direction of your life. One more thing that I want to really bring in here for all of you is keep a check on your media appetite. I know a lot of you know, first of all, a lot of news channels, not only lot, all the news channels are covering only and only about Corona. So I think initially everybody was apprehensive, so they were all sitting in front of the TV, glued to the TV and watching what is happening. But after a few days, I'm sure even you must have felt that it is the same news whole day. They are repeatedly telecasting because their work has to go on. But how much of it can we digest? Especially if you're anxiety prone and if you are watching a lot of TV with all these depressing news, that is going to actually make you further feel low and anxious. So very consciously, you have to decide how much of it you want to handle. What you have to do is, in case if you want to know what is happening across the world, maybe 2 or 3 times in a day, maybe for 10 minutes, like I do it this way. I don't sit in front of the TV at all. I just go to TV room for 2 to 3 times in a day for maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, watch latest news, just know to update myself, and then I start with my other work. I don't sit in front of the TV at all because that's something that takes away a lot of your time. Second thing is lot of messages and videos are being circulated on WhatsApp. I don't know, even I'm getting more than 1,000 messages and videos on my phone. I'm sure even you must be getting. Now, how much of it can you watch and how much of it should you be watching? Because ultimately, even that leads to a lot of anxiety and upsets you and depresses you and takes away your time. So, media is something like you go for a marriage and you have a buffet. So everything is lying right in front of you. We have especially in Indian weddings, we have a huge buffet. I think more than 100 items are, put on tables from one place to another. So number of times I see people carrying their plate and they would be going to every, table, pick something from every counter. So as a result, they will have almost 2 to 3 times of the food that they can digest. Similarly, there is lot in media. How much of it you should be taking, that is something you got to take a choice, take a call. So don't overfeed yourself with this news. Especially on the WhatsApp, the authenticity of the news is not very, checked, not verified. Many a times these are fabricated news. Sometimes they are also put on the media to influence a particular sect of people, or in favor or against. So we got to really check ourselves. One more point about media that I want to talk about is, I get to hear a lot of people are spending a lot of time on things like Netflix and Prime Video and all these, It's all right. I am not saying that you should not have entertainment, but how much of it? If you are watching a lot of these movies and serials and a lot of time you're spending on this, then ultimately you will not be left with any time to work on yourself. So every time I sit in front of the TV or in front of any, if I'm watching a serial or a program, I start thinking that this actor or this actress must have worked very hard to reach here. And that is why he or she is acting in this serial or in this movie. What am I doing sitting here and watching this person? So I am fulfilling his or her goal, but where is my goal? How am I serving my goal? So similarly, you have to ask yourself, if you are spending too much of time watching these serials or movies, you are fulfilling their target. But what about your own target? What about your own life? What are you achieving? So that's what I'm trying to, tell you, that you got to really balance it. I am again repeat saying, I am not against any entertainment or entertainment channel. Watch it, but how much of it you should be doing, that's something you have to really, keep a check on. So make sure that you spend your time wisely, because time is the biggest asset right now. Initially, for me also, for 1 week I was completely baffled. I was very confused. How do I use my time and what do I do? But trust me, after I got, control of situation and I was comfortable with myself, today I find 24 hours less for me. The number of things that I have on my mind and I've started doing, I find this time short for me. So this is how I feel everybody should work, and especially the kind of economic crisis we are going to face initially before we actually stand on our feet. We all need to work hard to make sure that we go through this phase in a very smooth manner. And the best way is prepare yourself to meet with these challenges. One more advice that I would like to give you is, stay in the company of positive and progressive people. It's very important to check your company. If you have a company who is in habit of, talking negative or discouraging things or talking always, ये भी हो सकता है, मुझे भी हो सकता है, आपको भी हो सकता है, जॉब चली जाएगी, फिर क्या होगा? So that means they are talking everything only in the negative side. So you are likely to get influenced by them. So very mindfully choose people who are positive and who are progressive. Last but not the least, please be thankful to Almighty. I think we are all lucky. We are at home. We are safe. We are with our family. Think of those people who are working in the hospitals, the doctors, nurses, other healthcare professionals, being away from their family. Do you know that because when they are working with the patients, they are not going home because they don't want to keep their family safe. So either they stay in the hospital premises only, or they are living into makeshift places. They are not even living with their family. They are scared that their family might get infected. Imagine their parents or their families worry that if my child gets infected, what will happen? And especially when they are getting to hear some deaths of the police officers or some deaths of the doctors and nurses, that's really, really very, sad and painful. So we need to be thankful to Almighty that we are safe, we are at home, we are with our family, we have a roof on our head, we have everything what we require. We need to be thankful to Almighty, and we need to really, really utilize our time mindfully by two things. If you can look after, build a wonderful bond with your family, got a chance which you will never get again, and look after your personal growth, because that is what is going to ensure you a bright future, which I'm really, really, I can see it right in front of me. I wish even you all can see. So with this, I end my presentation here, and would be open to the questions, is whatever questions you have. Uh, in case if you have some questions to ask. So can you hear me? Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really enriching. I think we all are going to look back into our bucket list now and going to utilize this time for our personal growth. So we are going to begin with the question answer round.
Okay.
And we already have some questions with us, and also those who want to ask any questions can post it on the comment section. Do not open your mics and camera, just post your question. I'll be asking those questions on your behalf. So, ma'am, we have the first question, that is, I am very stressed about my exams as there is no clear picture that exams will happen or not. And that is the reason why I am not able to focus on my studies. What should I do in such a situation when there's so much of uncertainty? How should I focus on my studies?
Wonderful.
That's the first one.
So now I have given you a tool of blue and yellow circle. Okay. So this question that student has asked, that I am worried about my exams. I am concerned about my exam. कि होंगे कि नहीं होंगे, होंगे तो कब होंगे. My question to you is, do you have any control over it? If you have a control, then this question goes into blue bucket. If you don't have any control over it, it goes into yellow circle. For example, I don't think we have any information as of now. So we have no clarity. Maybe you can check with your teachers if they have some idea. I'm sure they will update you. But in case if they are also not very clear about how things are going to happen, and let me also tell you, administrator, educationists, academicians, they are all working on these things. Don't think that they are sitting and waiting for somebody to order them. They are waiting to look for opportunities how they can handle this situation. So you never know, they might come up with some intelligent idea where your exams can be held. But whether they are held or not, if you are not prepared, see, in case if they are not held, if you are prepared, what will happen at the most? Maybe your preparation will go, momentarily they will go waste. Of course, exams will happen, may get delayed, that's all. But in case if you have not prepared, and if the exams are scheduled as per whatever timeline the colleges decide, and if you are not prepared, then it's going to be a huge loss. So this is how we have to evaluate that whether I should be preparing or not preparing for my exam or whatever I should be doing. And second thing is, worrying about anything is not going to resolve the problem. If you are focusing on something more important than your studies, even then I would agree with you. That's all right. At least you are upskilling your skills. You are learning podcasting, blogging, or digital marketing or other skills. But if you are not doing anything and just sitting and worrying, then you are completely draining all your energy to yellow circle, which is not going to help in any way. One more answer to this question is, if all the students are in the same boat, why should it affect you more? Check, maybe you have habit of worrying over things. Don't make it a habit. That's not a good practice. If everybody is in the same boat, and if everybody will either have exam or will not have exam, there is no point worrying about it. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Can we have the next question?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, we have the next question in the comments section. That is, most of the students have gone to their home in mid and break, so they didn't bring all the books, notes, etc. It is giving so much tension, ma'am, because we don't have enough resources to study. How to prepare for exam in that case, ma'am? Online resources are not much helpful. All these things are messed up there.
You know, there is a study by Harvard. It says every problem has minimum 4 solutions. And every solution should be tried at least 4 times before you give up. So that means to deal with any problem, you have at least 16 opportunities before you say it is unresolvable. You have asked me a question, and an immediate answer that I have is, you may have a lot of friends who are in Delhi. Ask them to take a picture of the book and send you. They can cam scan the pages and send you. They can cam scan the notes and send you. Is that difficult? So this is just instant answer I have, but I'm sure if you will look at other possible ways, I'm sure you'll have many more solutions to the problem. Yes, please.
Ma'am, so the next question that we have in the comment section is, how can one deal with the overthinking during this time? How to deal with overthinking?
See, overthinking is a habit of mind. So you have to really unlearn it. Best way is to engage yourself into something meaningful. When you are doing something where you are physically, mentally involved, chances are that your mind will get distracted. So very smartly you have to, engage yourself in something, something, doing something. If you're just sitting at home, like for example, if you're not even participating in your household responsibilities, or you're not even studying, or you're not even doing some meaningful task, so chances are that mind will be sitting idle and thinking. So you got to meaningfully engage it into some meaningful activity. Do we have more questions?
The next question is, sometimes when I am not in good mood and my parents keep asking that what has happened to me, that this really irritates me and I become angry and start arguing with them, which I regret on later. So what should I do to avoid this situation and stay calm and not argue with my parents?
See, one thing is that since we are at home 24/7, so dealing with each other sometimes becomes overwhelming. So consciously, stay away from each other by engaging yourself with some meaningful work. For example, if you're sitting in your room and studying, then I don't think your parents will come and ask you to come and sit with me. Usually if you're not doing anything, they'll say come and sit with me or do some work. So one is that we don't have to be always sitting on each other's head. Have some time with each other, and then have some time with yourself. And when you have that time with yourself, spend that time in reflecting on what you want to do or what you want to achieve. And especially as you said that you get annoyed when they ask you repeatedly what has happened, and then later on you go and say sorry. When you say sorry, also communicate to them that when I am kind of unhappy or disturbed, I become upset like this. So kindly, if you can leave me free for a while, it will help me recover and I'll come back to you. But you should communicate your state of mind and state of, situation. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So the next question is that when I'm not surrounded by people, I start thinking about my past and the mistakes which I have committed in my past, and and I start feeling bad about those decisions. This really affects my present because I get depressed.
Again, you have to train your mind to, unlearn this habit of talking about past or thinking about past or feeling bad or guilty or sad about it. It's not a productive thought. So there's a very beautiful tool called Socratic triple filter test. So in that, you actually check the thought through these three filters. The first filter is it true? Is it 100% true? For example, uh, I called somebody and that person did not pick my call. So instant thought will be, oh, this person is not interested in talking to me. So the first test that I have to administer to this thought process is this true? So I will go back in the past and see, is this person really trying to avoid me? Has this person always avoided me? Or is it my way of just looking at it? So chances are you will get answer to it that no, it's not true, that this person has not always avoided me. Sometimes it has happened. Then second thing that you have to ask yourself, does this thought give you a good feeling or a bad feeling? If this thought is giving you a bad feeling, then it is not a good thought. So you have to understand, if it is a bad thought, it's going to corrupt your mind. And third question that you have to ask is this thought process helpful, useful, kind? Definitely going in past, thinking negative, going into, thinking about your mistakes, crying over it, is it helping you in any way? The best way to learn from your mistake is that you learn a lesson from it and then you decide that I will not handle it this way. We all have a habit of, getting into a trap and then enjoying that trap. Don't let that happen. This is not a good idea. It will hamper your growth as a person. You will not be able to strongly deal with this situation. So you have to very mindfully throw away this habit of yours. Any other question?
Yes, ma'am, we have one last question, I guess,
Yeah.
In the comment section. How do we stay informed of the ongoing crisis and its repercussion on the low strata people while also staying positive? How do we find the balance?
See, there is no harm knowing about what is happening in the society, because that tells you. I am keeping an eye on what is happening with the migrant workers, how they are suffering. Many of them are having delivery on the road. Many of them are even dying because of dehydration and heat stroke. That should actually, though I don't have any control over it, so I will put it in the yellow circle. But at the same time, I will be thankful to Almighty to have given me all this, whatever comforts and facilities I have. And then my gratitude towards my nation or towards society or towards the humanity will be that I will see how can I contribute to make things better. Now, for example, these webinars that I'm conducting with all of you, I planned with this idea that why not inspire people and engage them in the positive and change their mindset. And especially, I know the younger generation requires little guidance, and then they can, bring a very major shift in their way of thinking or looking at situation. And this is how everybody has to take responsibility to do their bit of, whatever they can do. Any other question?
Yes, ma'am. There are two questions. One is, there are some students who are trapped in their PGs where they don't have friends or family to interact with and whom they can console. So how to save them from falling in depression, or how they can save themselves from falling in depression?
See, one is keep yourself busy. Don't sit idle. Sitting idle is, ideal mind is devil's workshop. So most important is to keep yourself physically and mentally busy. Second, stay in touch with your loved ones, especially if they are not with you. Thankfully, we have video calling. We have so many ways to connect with them on regular basis. Talk to them. Talk positive, talk good. Let them also talk to you in a positive way. Because if you suddenly start feeling that I want to go home, and if your parents also say that by all means you should come home, and you cannot go home, that itself become a reason for you to feel upset or bad or unhappy about the situation. So again, very mindfully, you have to focus on something interesting, enjoyable. As I said, join some programs, join some courses, become little focused. When you become focused, automatically your mind will get diverted. So you have to engage yourself. That's most important.
Ma'am, the next question is, what skill can we learn, ma'am, according to you? What skill should we learn during this time?
I think I've given you a huge list of skills that you can think of, or whatever future profession you want to take up. Prepare yourself for that. Whatever job that you want to take up, or whatever profession you want to take up, Google search what skills are required for that job, what percentage is required for that job, what are the requirements of that job. Start working towards it. I mean, there may be 100 of them, but at least some of the basic life skills that as students you all must know is communication, introspection, critical thinking, creative thinking, business etiquettes, writing skills. This is something, they're all basic skills and everybody should know. Unfortunately, our education system does not prepare our students thoroughly with these skills. Whereas these are the skills you require not only in your professional setup but even in your personal and day-to-day life. And every student should be master of these skills. And as I'm repeatedly saying that we may become economic center of the world. For that, you really have to rise to the occasion, and you really need to have international level of skills to meet the requirement. Any other question?
Yes, ma'am, there's a question. I'm a third year graduating student and I'm very stressed and doubtful about my future. Different people suggest different things. Parents also sometimes pressurize to do specific things. in order to achieve success sooner. This creates a lot of pressure and fear in my mind, which stops me from doing what I like doing and trying different things.
See, having different hobbies is all right, but having one career on your mind is very important, because if you don't have one set career, then you will not work towards it. That is one thing. But career selection is very scientific actually. Usually we think, okay, I want to be this and I think I can be this. That's not the thing. So whatever career you want to choose, there are certain parameters to choose that career. One, what you are good at, what you are fond of, what are your skills, then what are the opportunities for that particular profession that you are thinking of. So there are a number of things that you need to consider before you pick a career. Usually career used to be chosen by parents ki acha ye ban jao, acha ye ban jao, and kids will join that, and then later on they feel that we are misfit. And we have seen number of movies also where they have shown that people get into wrong field and then they regret later on. Fortunately, you have a lot of opportunities to get your career assessment done, know what you are good at. But even otherwise, if you will Google search, you'll find number of careers. See what is the scope of that career. I remember somebody called me and she said, I want to do a master's in criminal psychology. So I told her, what is the scope of criminal psychology? So in those days, that Dr. Talwar's daughter's case was in the news. Ayushi Talwar's case was in the news. So they were showing, some criminal psychologists working on these people. So that girl got inspired by it, and she called me that I want to do masters in criminal psychology. And I asked her, what is the scope of it? In spite of explaining, she said, no, I want to do it. And she went for it. Then later on, there were no jobs. So when you're choosing your career, you got to be very clear what you want to achieve. Then what is the scope of that? That is how you have to choose your career. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. I think we have this one last question. So, ma'am, sometimes we have personality issues and that leads to clash with the family members. So, how does one deal with these family clashes and keep oneself unaffected from them and stay focused on studies?
See, I would rather say, if you say it's a personality clash, it's not personality clash as such, unless you have really checked somebody's personality and you know that they are two different personalities. We all have certain likes and dislikes, and we all have our own temperament. I think more important is to focus on how do you come together, how do you come closer. Because with the family, you need to have good relationship, because that's like your foundation. Usually when you don't enjoy a good relationship with your parents, or your parents don't enjoy a good relationship with you, both the parties suffers. So as parents, they should make an effort to come close to you, and as children, I think you should be equally innovative in finding ways to go closer to your parents. For example, if you want to go closer to your parents, best way right now is if you start spending time with them, helping them household chores. If you help them in the household responsibilities, definitely they'll be happy to see you growing, becoming mature, becoming better, becoming wise. So automatically their thought process about you will change. Also, in case if there's an issue that you are upset about, learn to communicate in a proper way rather than being angry or aggressive. Sometimes, how much ever correct your point or issue is, but if you are aggressive or you are angry, your anger or your aggressive behavior dominates the issue. The attention actually shifts completely to your behavior rather than the issue. So you have to learn how to deal with the, that's what I'm saying, communication skill, collaborative skill, team building skill, relationship, interpersonal skills. These are the skills that we all require to lead a peaceful and a happy life. Unfortunately, we focus so much on these subjects, but these skills that you require are not attended in the real sense, Yeah. So are we done with the questions?
Yes, ma'am, I think we are done. Do we have any questions from the faculty side? The teachers from any teachers, do they have any questions? Shall we conclude?
I think we can conclude. It's almost 1 hour. We can.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, thank you so much for answering all those queries. I think those tips are really going to help our students. And I also thank our principal, ma'am, without whose efforts this session would not have been possible. Thank you to our student union convener, Dr. Rajni, ma'am, Ritu, ma'am, and Ankita, ma'am, without whose constant support and help we could not have conducted this seminar. Thank you all the students and the teachers for joining us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.